When we started on the fire safety bill, I tabled the first amendment to that bill to try and protect leaseholders from these unimaginable, eye-watering costs. And the government said repeatedly that this wasn't the place for it. We've had a huge cross-party effort since then. We're 18 months on. This is the second piece of legislation, and there is still no guarantee to protect leaseholders from these costs in law. The government's tone has changed, and I welcome that, but its position has not. And whilst I welcome talk of working cross-party and working collaboratively, I would urge the Minister and his government to make clear that there are some strong assurances on the record today, because I do not believe that the goodwill being displayed in this House will last for much longer if we do not get some better answers. Number one, the Secretary of State announced last week that the loan scheme would be scrapped and that cladding costs would be covered for buildings over 11 metres. Where is that statutory protection? It should be on the order paper today. We should be discussing it in this House, not kicking it into the long grass. Non-cladding problems, fire safety defects. The Minister must be aware that since the Secretary of State made his announcement last week, there has been a huge rush of bills and enforcement notices because freeholders think they can get away with suddenly asking leaseholders to pay for these fire safety defects. Will the Minister make a strong statement at the dispatch box today that he intends to issue a moratorium on these freeholders from issuing these enforcement notices, because that is what is needed? I welcome the fact that action on the Defective Premises Act is going to be extended to 30 years, but he knows just as well as I do that in committee stage of this bill, we showed that the current legislation is condemning leaseholders to years and years and years of litigation, litigation and litigation. And in some cases, they may have to take their freeholders to court twice before they can even take those responsible to court. That is not a satisfactory position. The government keeps saying that it wants to work with freeholders and developers to find a voluntary solution. But cladding victims and fire safety victims themselves have given the government the answer time and time again. They are asking the government to stump up the cash, to make homes safe, and then use its power to go after those who are responsible. I have been listening very carefully to the carefully crafted answers from the Minister today to questions about when we might see some of these legal protections. I would note that the second reading of this bill in the House of Lords is scheduled for the start of February, and yet the Secretary of State has indicated that he wishes to continue his discussions with those responsible until March. When questioned by other honourable members, I noted that the Minister answered about whether the House of Lords would see these amendments. He said it may include in the other place, not that it would include in the other place. So I'm asking the Minister if he will make a very, very clear commitment at the dispatch box today that the statutory protections announced last week will in fact be amendments to this bill. Those amendments will be introduced in the other place, and that sufficient time will be provided in this House for us to discuss them. If there is any attempt whatsoever from this government to try and railroad this bill through without those protections in place, he will have a very significant cross-party fight on his hands. Thank you.